Whoa, hello everybody. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Distilled, Brewed, and Reviewed. My name is John. I want to welcome you to the channel and to my world famous sipping den. It's a beautiful place to be. On this channel I do everything that has anything to do with alcohol, and I do a world famous Sunday morning coffee review. I do it all here. I will say that as far as doing everything that has anything to do with alcohol and coffee, I am the only one in the world that can do it. And because I respect of my fellow YouTubers, I do all these reviews to keep it fair with half my taste buds tied behind my back. It's the least I can do. In order to keep up with all the stuff I review, I have put together an amazing playlist. It's up to date. It's so categorized and subcategorized that it's easy to navigate and find everything I do because I have it broken down. So easy. You just look at that playlist and pop on the things that interest you. It's that easy. It's beautiful. All I ask for is a sub and a comment. And if you can't sub, then you really need to comment. All right? All right. Drink along with me. Crack open whatever you got on Sunday. I want to see you for some coffee. Right now I'm going to be doing, and the first comment of every video I do is what? It's pinned. And you want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because I always have a link to the playlist that reflects what I'm doing. In this case, I'm basically doing a sour mash whiskey. It's not considered a bourbon. It's not considered a rye. It's Michter's US 1 sour mash whiskey, and we're going to get into a little bit about this whiskey because it's fascinating. It really is interesting. First off, classification: whiskey, company Michter's distillery sourced. They've only been in operation at their current site for 3 years. Release date ongoing, proof 86, 43 ABV. Age statement, no age statement. Mash bill is undisclosed. Okay, but here's interesting about Michter's. The Michter's brand has had a storied history. Though not always called Michter's, it has also gone by the names Bombergers and Penco at different times. Didn't know that, did you? Yeah. The brand was created in 1753 in Pennsylvania, was the top-selling whiskey in the 70s and 80s. I didn't know that, actually. It went bankrupt in '89 and then was revived in the 90s. Michter's original sour mash was one of the most popular whiskeys decades ago. Yet after the company went bankrupt, the brand line, curiously, wasn't revived at the same time the company was, waiting until 2012 for it to resurface. In 2019, the company opened their own distilling facility in the historic 1890 Fort Nelson building in downtown Louisville. After an 8-year, $80 million renovation of the decrepit building, I watched them do that. I used to pass right by there every day to go to work. The term sour mash on Michter's US 1 original sour mash whiskey's label refers to a process in which some of the fermented mash is held over from one batch of whiskey to start the fermentation of the next batch. A cost-saving and consistency measure that is also said to make the whiskey sweeter and more complex. It's funny because there's something called a sweet mash where they start from scratch and they don't use part of the old batch, but that's not sweet. But also not uncommon, as majority whiskeys and bourbons are made using this process. Michter's US 1 original sour mash whiskey is labeled a whiskey instead of a bourbon because, according to the company, the mash bill has a fair amount of rye grain in addition to a fair amount of corn and some barley malt. So in other words, it doesn't have 51% corn or barley, corn or rye, can't be called a bourbon, can't be called a rye. So there it is. Okay, that's pretty much it, right? Non-chill filtered. Oh, wait a minute. Michter's US 1 original sour mash whiskey is also filtered. What the hell that means? What kind of filter? Most is, we're going to say it's chill filtered, and I'm not sure. Alright. Let's see what's going on with this. You want to see what's going on with this? I do. I do. Color. Nose. Huh. Get a tree bark. It's kind of weird to say that. Usually I say barrel or cedar. For some reason it reminds me of bark. Like a thick piece of bark getting peeled off a tree. Cinnamon. Yes, nice. That's from the rye. Some other cinnamon nutmeg chocolate. Smells like a delicious cake going on here. Bark's fading and a sweetness is coming out. And the bark can also be, I guess, woodsy, earthy. Probably a better descriptive. Alright. Let's give this bad boy a taste. We're going to do an acclimation sip first. Now we'll concentrate on the flavor. Know what this reminds me of? Because it's sweet and vanilla. And it's thick, even though it's somehow filtered. It didn't say how. If it's chill filtered, it feels oily. I love it. Which it shouldn't. Anyway, a lot of things are filtered with charcoal. Not the charcoal process that, Lincoln County process, but charcoal put in. A lot of whiskeys do that. Anyway, reminds me of the vanilla, taffy, where it's sweet. It's candy, so it's sweet taffy. I think it's taffy, but vanilla. And I like that because I don't usually get a lot of vanilla because vanilla is easily masked. But in this case, the vanilla taffy is what I'm getting reminded of here. A little honey water. So vanilla toffee, taffy, I should say, honey. Sweeter. I don't know where all that's coming from. Because we know it doesn't even have 51% corn. But yet it's sweet. Barrel on the aftertaste, on the finish. Definitely woodsy, tannic a little bit. Balancing out the sweetness in the front. Kind of like an IPA that, or a beer with that's sweet, but then you get the hops on the back, and it kind of bounces. Kind of what it's kind of reminding me of. And that's pretty much what I'm going to leave it at. I don't want to get too ridiculous. I look forward to them. They're making their own stuff now, but they've only been at their location for 3 years. It's going to take what? If they don't rush it, 4 and more. So then next year, hopefully, they'll be able to start pumping out their own whiskey and not having to source it. But they're just sitting patiently in barrels right now, just waiting. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to sub. I'll see you on the next one.